Good evening and welcome to the Saturday edition of the Fbx Evening News. I'm Katie Looper leading our news tonight. State troopers are out investigating what appeared to be a fatal traffic accident. It was discovered yesterday afternoon near mile 287 of the Richardson Highway. Troopers responded to what was reported as a possible motorcycle wreck. The victim, who was dead at the scene, has been identified as Rex Chapman of Delta Junction.
So they turned around and got out to see what was going on, and unfortunately they found a deceased individual there. Troopers were called out to investigate. And from the best we can tell is there was a motorcycle wreck, and the driver of the motorcycle was not wearing a helmet at the time, and unfortunately he succumbed to his injuries that he received in the wreck.
A meeting is scheduled for next week to update the public on various projects underway to bring the natural gas to the area. The Fairbanks Economic Development Corporation's Energy for All Alaska Task Force will provide updates on a North Slope natural gas processing facility. There will also be reports from Fairbanks Natural Gas and the Municipal Interior Gas Utility. The meeting will be held from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Tuesday at the Westmark Hotel's Gold Room. The updates will cover the Interior Energy Project, which was created and funded by the legislature in 2013. AARP has produced a long-term care scorecard for the state of Alaska. Even though the state ranked 5th overall, there was one area of major concern. There are up to 128,000 people who are caring for their aging parent, spouse, or a loved one in Alaska, yet the state ranks 21st in the support provided for those caregivers. AARP is pushing to improve the statistics and wants public input.
What's important to remember is it's unpaid. And the value of that is roughly $1.1 billion here in Alaska. Billion. And I'll bet there's somebody listening to this report or watching this report who can identify with the challenges or the difficulty they may have encountered, or they know someone who's encountered some problems in the workplace, not being supported.
Fairbanks safety officials are encouraging the public to take precautions when boating. Here's more on that. During the past 2 weeks, the Chena River has been significantly higher than usual. Being 4th of July weekend, it's expected many boaters will want to float the river, so we talked to Ernie Mesowitz, Deputy Fire Chief of the Fairbanks Fire Department, about river safety this weekend.
Well, I think first off, for the last several weeks, we've been inundated with quite a bit of rain. And as a result, it's caused local streams and rivers and creeks to swell extensively, to the point that some of them actually have flooded, some of them gone over their banks. The river coming through Fairbanks is considerably high over to normal. It's not at flood stage, but it's still high. I think the biggest concern that we have is that people need to be aware of what's happening out there.
Rivers are moving fast, and in the case of a boat flipping over or anyone going overboard, Mesowitz suggests calling 911 and emergency response will come immediately. Clearance between water and bridges downtown near Cushman are as low as 4 feet tall.
The forecast is calling for sunny days, warm temperatures. It's a holiday weekend, so I do expect people to be out enjoying the weather. And again, we can go over there and make sure that the people are safe, that they observe what's going on, be aware of what's going on. If you're out on the water and stuff, I don't care if it's a river or a pond or a gravel pit, making sure that you have a PFD on. If you're out operating a watercraft out there, don't drink and drive, and be safe.
Caution is urged for boaters this weekend. However, the river is expected to lower by the end of next week. This is Katie Looper reporting. We'll have more when the weekend's only televised newscast returns. Stay with us. Welcome back. Scientists at UAF are trying to create life-saving medicine by studying the mechanisms behind hibernation. Tyson Paris-Hansen shares more in this report.
That slice is brain tissue from an Arctic ground squirrel. UAF scientists are trying to learn how the animal hibernates, a process that grad student Carla Frare says could be useful in medicine.
I think that the squirrels are a pretty unique species, especially if we think that those animals go in this natural coma without any brain damages. That's pretty amazing.
They want to create a similar cooling effect in other mammals like rats and someday maybe humans. But why? Bernard Laughlin recently finished med school and is working with Professor Kelly Drew to find a way to chill the human body safely.
What it entails is cooling patients after they have a cardiac incident, and it's been shown to increase survivability and to decrease neurological injury after arrest.
Being able to cool really gives people a second chance. I mean, there's been stories, a lot of people are familiar with drowning victims, that if they drown in cold water, they can be brought back and without long-term deficits.
Doctors can already cool patients, just put them on ice. But there's a big problem.
Normally, as people cool, they fight that cooling, and by shivering and other mechanisms that the brain regulates that makes them uncomfortable. And so really hibernation is energy conservation, and by doing that you can improve outcome.
Right now, undergrad student Isaac Bailey is inventing a climate-controlled box to chill rats. If the researchers can cause the rats to feel cool and cozy, there are huge medical and scientific opportunities waiting.
People with long transport time to hospitals, so we think that for rural Alaska residents it's going to be very effective both for cardiac arrest as well as for stroke.
Maybe like NASA or like the European Space Agency might be interested in this kind of metabolism suppression for going to Mars or something. So it's kind of in its beginning, so it's really cool.
From UAF, this is Tyson Perez-Hansen reporting.
Fairbanks welcomes the first international Piano E competition ever to come to Alaska. Over the process of 10 days, 24 elite musicians are competing for awards and professional performance opportunities. Here's more in this report. 24 accomplished piano players from all over the world, ranging from 19 to 32 years old, were selected by a jury of 9 internationally renowned pianists.
About a year and a half ago, Edouard Zilberkant came to President Gamble and to me, suggesting that we take on this competition. He had wanted for a long time to have some form of competition here in Fairbanks, and when he talked with Alexander Brzezinski about the idea of doing a competition to try to get some pointers, Alexander said, why don't we just move the e-competition to Fairbanks?
I knew that I want to eventually be able to conduct the competition from any place in the world. But I couldn't have thought up a better place than Fairbanks, really. I'm completely thrilled being here, and I think it is the beginning of a great tradition.
The competition is separated into 4 qualifying rounds. Pianists will be competing for up to $65,000 in prizes.
What Fairbanks audience will be able to hear and see is the best pianists of the young generations up to age 32, who are basically on a career path to have an incredible career, and this is a launching pad for them. So we have a choice to basically sit at the doorstep of greatness to see who are these next generation of great pianists.
The E in Piano E competition refers to the advanced technology of the Yamaha Disclavier pianos, 21st century player pianos that can transmit a performance to other Disclaviers around the world. This competition is unique because an expected 500,000 people will be able to watch the concerts online. Also, individuals in universities with Disclaviers can tune in and listen to the performance through their own piano.
The technology of reproducing instruments, recording and reproducing instruments, is not new. There was a version of it, you may know it, it's a piano rolls in the player pianos. This is light years ahead of what those pianos could do. In essence, they do the same thing, they record and they reproduce. But the precision and the speed and the convenience of how it's done, of course, increased millionfold. I would be very confident in saying that.
Performances are live in the Davis Concert Hall until July 12th or streamable online. The finalists will perform with the Fairbanks Symphony Orchestra on July 10th and 11th. This is Katie Looper reporting. Joe Cook is next with sports, and he has news on some Nanack hockey players continuing their NHL careers, plus an entertaining run in North Pole today. Sports is right after the break.
Welcome back, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here in Sports Seat with your Independence Weekend Sports. A nice week for a couple of standout former Nanack hockey players in regards to their NHL careers. Former UAF goalie and CCHA Player of the Year Chad Johnson will be staying on the East Coast but he will be a New York Islander next year. Johnson inked a 2-year, $2.6 million deal this week. He went 17-4-3 in 27 games, saving at 92% and allowing about 2.1 goals a game for the Boston Bruins. He played behind Tuukka Rask, who won the Vezina Trophy for Best Goaltender. Johnson will support Jaroslav Halak, who signed a 4-year deal with the Islanders, and he went 29-13-7 in 52 games last year. Johnson played in 79 games for the Nooks, and his 7 shutouts are tied with assistant coach Wiley Rogers for second most all time. Johnson will be a part of Islander teams that will close out the Nassau Coliseum this season and bring the new team into the Barclays Center in 2015-2016. Now, Cody Koenig received a qualifying offer from the Tampa Bay Lightning on Thursday. He was a restricted free agent at the end of this past season after signing with Tampa Bay in March. Tampa Bay has the right to refuse any offer from other NHL clubs seeking Koenig. Last year's WCHA Player of the Year only had 10 minutes of ice time and 2 shots on goal in 1 game for the Lightning, but they like what they see. Koenig is top 15 on the all-time UAF scoring list with 133 points in 148 career games. He scored 43 points to lead the WCHA in his senior season. Now, if you wanted to have fun for a good cause while competing, then the Jingle Bell Run Walk 5K was for you. This morning at Santa Claus House in North Pole, a few hundred people, by my estimation, came out to enjoy the sun and festivities for the 5K, which helps the Arthritis Foundation. They had free hot dogs too, and if you're in North Pole, you have to see the man, Santa Claus, and there were a few of them, but nothing like the real thing, as he was mingling, taking pictures, and calling the start of the race. There was a kids 1K, they had Zumba, even a costume contest. Spider-Man was walking around out there, and a Unicorn Boy from Indiana, just a whole lot of characters out there. And love was in the air as well. Corey and Ashley Felker got married today. Corey is in the 321 Infantry Unit, and Ashley is from North Pole, and she's in the Air Force. They ran the 5K together before they tied the knot today. Nice scene there. This year's race honoree was Madison Rinko, who suffers from juvenile arthritis, but the people were out in support of her and the race. And speaking of the race, Ted Hurdle let me get in the Pace 4-wheeler, so I was able to get some nice footage on the trail. The race was all Enoch Porter, the late cross-country runner, made his move to the front after the first mile, and he cruised, widening the gap between himself and the field. He finished in 18:50. Hometown favorite Christy Schmitz, the former UAA runner, defends her Jingle Bell women's title, finishing second in a little over 19 minutes. Porter accomplished a big personal feat today.
It was pretty good. I live around here, so this is usually where I run. So, I mean, I was kind of used to the trails, and I think that helped. And it's the first race I've ever won, so I'm pretty happy about that.
I think after the first initial part, people started to fall back a little bit, and that's when I went for it, because I felt good then, but a little further I didn't feel so good. And this one's pretty cool because it supports the Arthritis Foundation, so that's one of the main reasons I wanted to come out. And it's fun because it's in North Pole, my hometown, so it's pretty fun.
It was great to see all the people out. I wasn't expecting so many people. I think it's great what they're doing, and I'll definitely be back to run again next year.
And the Alaska Gold Panthers split last night's doubleheader against the Shugiak Chinooks. In Game 1, the Panthers scored 3 runs in the top of the 4th and didn't look back in their 6-2 victory. Cody Nolf went 2 for 3 with a double, triple, and 2 ribbies. Mike Benson got the win, allowing 3 hits and 1 earned in 6 innings of work. But the Chinooks, they bounced back in Game 2, roaring back with a 7th spot in the bottom of the 5th to win 9-8. The Gold Panthers committed 3 errors in the second game. They were up 5-2 before Chugiak's run. William Arnott led the Chinooks with 3-4, 2-run, 2-ribby performance. That was just the 6th win of the summer for Chugiak. Alaska is now 14-6 overall and 4-5 in the ABL. The series finale in the best-of-3 series is tonight in Chugiak. And here are the results from yesterday's Independence Day Reverse Co-Ed Sand Volleyball Tournament. Mike Quinn and Julie Gahully, that duo, only lost 1 match on their way to winning the championship. Gavin Meggert and Jessica Hill were the only team to beat this year's champions. Quinn and Gahully won the second match in the double elimination final after Meggert and Hill took the first game. Now the 6 teams, Ryan Holdeshell and Island Keller, that was the team. They were the last seed, but they were able to finish 3rd. Now the next sand volleyball tournament is the 5th annual Golden Days King and Queen of the Beach tournament on July 19th at Groudon Memorial Park. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Thanks for rocking with me this weekend. Katie Looper is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Welcome back. It's 4th of July weekend. How was your 4th of July holiday, Joe?
Well, it's pretty good. You know, got out there to the Independence Day run. Beautiful weather, and beautiful weather this morning, too, up at North Pole. a lot of sunshine, a lot of heat though. Some of the runners were like, man, they were tired after the race and everything. But I can understand it was kind of warm out there this morning, but hopefully maybe that's going to be a trend.
Yeah, I think it's going to be nice. Let's look at our weather almanac. Looks like normal high today is 74 and a normal low of 53. Our record high was 91 in 1986 and record low at 40 in 1905. The sunrise and sunset equals 21 hours and 7 minutes of daylight, giving us a loss of 5 minutes from yesterday. Around the state today, it's mostly cloudy in Ketchikan and raining in Juneau. Anchorage is sunny at 78. It's cloudy near Kodiak and Cold Bay with temperatures in the low 60s. Up and down the west coast, it's partly cloudy, mid-50s for Nome and Barrow. For the interior, it's mostly sunny with temperatures in the low 80s. Now let's go to our lower 48. Looks like rain showers in the north and west with temperatures in the low 70s. In the southwest, it's in the hundreds near Phoenix and Las Vegas area. Moving east to the Central Plains, there's cloudy skies near Dallas and up through Minneapolis with warm temperatures between the mid-80s and 90s. Storms near Miami, but the East Coast, it's sunny with temperatures rising in the mid-80s. The outlook for next week looks to be real hot in the northwest. For the southwest, lightning storms are expected. It'll be nice in the Midwest, although humid in the deep south. However, up and down the East Coast, we'll have hot weather. And back in Alaska, starting with the North Slope, it's mostly cloudy in Barrow with temperatures in the low 40s, clear skies in Nome at 68, and sunny in Fort Yukon at 78. Now for the interior, temperatures in the high to 60s to low 70s, mostly sunny in Fairbanks, scattered showers in Delta, and mostly clear in Healy. Moving down south, it's mostly cloudy with a chance of rain in Juneau and Ketchikan, temperatures in the low 60s. On the southwest side, mostly cloudy with a chance of showers in Bethel and Cold Bay, and cloudy in Kodiak. For south central, it's mostly cloudy with rain showers around Anchorage, Homer, and Valdez, temperatures in the low to mid-60s. And for tonight's forecast, it's going to be 57 and partly cloudy skies with light winds this evening. Tomorrow looks to be another gorgeous day. It might reach the low 80s, and for the extended forecast, it looks to be low 70s all across the board again, low mid-50s for our nightly temperatures. Scattered rain showers are expected for next week's forecast, so enjoy the sunny day tomorrow and get outside.
Most definitely. Gotta take advantage of that today, because it seems like that rain that we had all of last week is gonna be coming back.
Yeah, I think I'm planning on Chena Lakes tomorrow.
Okay, that sounds good.
That should be fun.
Cool.
Looks like, well, that'll wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We're glad you could join us.
NBC Nightly News is coming up next. You can join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
Join us 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
So nice you had to say it twice. From all of us here at the News Center, have a good night.
Oh.